Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Panda here again. Yeah, I wasn't able to upload any of the videos I thought I would be able to during the weekend, so I do apologize for not having any videos out then. Not that I really think any of you care that much that you need it every day, but hey, whatever. I'll get down to it. Let's start. Alright, where were we up to? Until this evening, so yeah, catch you later. Hang on, was I just invited to a girl's room after hours? Oh, that's right, that's where we were up to. Ah, yes. Is that even allowed? There is a curfew here, but I've never heard any rules about visitors in the dorm rooms. Even still, this is enough to get my sleep-deprived brain jump-started. Add that to the lukewarm breakfast and you have one hell of a pick-me-up. Hehehe. Hehehe. Hisao's gonna get some action. I grudgingly go to class, still a little excited at the prospect of breaking the rules. I feel a little like a kid planning to sneak out of his window at night. Well, maybe that's going a little too far, but when you compare an invitation to a party to 6 or so hours of lectures, I know which one wins. Misha and Shizune do little to relieve my boredom either. For once, they seem determined to actually complete Mattel's assignments. Nevertheless, the day eventually winds to a close. I hurry back to my room to wash up and comb my hair. Thankfully, I don't run into Kenji. Whew, good. Before long, I am leaving the boys' dorm. I nervously rap on the door marked 225, checking my watch once again. Is that you, Hisao? The door is open. You can come in. Lily's voice lifts through the door and soothes my nerves. This is the first time I've been invited to a girl's room after dark. Don't let your heart go all crazy now, Hisao. Even though I know there is no ulterior motive, yeah, right, behind this invitation, it doesn't stop my mind running wild with possibilities. One guy, 2 girls, 1 cup. No. Who? In a dorm room with a tea set. Oh god, there's more than 1 cup. When I put it like that, it sounds a little dodgy. Giving a small sigh to steady myself, I gingerly put a hand on the handle and open the door, craning my head to see inside. The door opens completely and I catch my first glimpse of Lily's room. Her furniture looks almost antique, but the bare walls and flat surfaces are barely decorated at all. In the centre of the room sits a low table where I see a small tea set at rest. It seems that everything in this room has its place, possibly expecting the several piles of books stacked up against the wall. My sense of vision isn't the only one to be stimulated. The faint smell of something can be picked up in the air. Nail polish, perfume, makeup, it's hard to describe in any other way than girly. My eyes finish their quick sweep of the room before returning their position onto the girls. Lily sits next to the small table, wearing very dark blue pajamas with shorts that show off plenty of her alluring pale legs. Opposite her, Hanako sits adorned in a conservative light pink gown. Her hands are firmly fixed between her legs, her shoulders forward and her head down, as if trying to hide herself in it. It would be easy for her to do. It looks about 2 sizes too big for her. Waves of flannel flow from her frame, making it look like a child playing dress-up in her parents' clothes. She looks up to confirm my identity and the beginnings of a thin smile creep across her face before vanishing so fast that I can't be sure they were ever there. There's no point in standing in the doorway, Hisao. I take a step into the room, closing the door behind me. I always think Hanako looks embarrassed when she's, like, holding her other arm like that. My, I'm afraid this really is a small room for the 3 of us. Would you like to take a seat? I slowly walk to the table and sit down, trying my hardest not to disturb anything along the way. I also can't help but steal a quick glance into Lily's top as I sit. Hisao, you bad boy! To be robbed of a sight would be most terrible fate. Oh, wow, yeah, fair enough. Fair enough, my man, fair enough. Well now, how about some tea? Hanako, could you please pour? Sure. Sal, would you like... I would love some tea. Do you need a hand? No, I'm fine. Thank you. Lily finds it difficult to resist a smile at her companion's nervousness, something I can't really blame her for. Been a tiring day? Yeah. I relax at my place, opposite of the cabinet. To my left is a blue-clad Lily, and to my right sits the pink Hanako. The tea set on the table looks cute as well as practical, painted red with a floral motif. It looks odd when contrasted with Lily's plain but generally sophisticated looking furniture, which leads me to think that Hanako might have picked it out. There is a slight ting when Hanako accidentally clips the teapot on a cup as she is pouring. She breathes in sharply. She must be really nervous, as it's not the kind of thing anyone would worry about. Hanako quivers at her mistake. It's okay, Hanako, there's no need to be nervous. Hanako seems to find some confidence in Lily's reassuringly soft-spoken words and deftly pours the next two teacups. Here you are, Hisao, Lily. Hanako carefully places a cup and saucer in front of Lily and myself. I could get used to service like this. Thank you, Hanako. Yeah, thanks. You're welcome. Lily searches for her cup and, upon finding it, sips delicately. I do the same. This tea tastes somewhat better than the tea we usually have at school. This is nice, it's so different from any tea I've had before. Looks like you picked the right one, Hanako. You've done well, even if it was a bold move. Hanako's smile returns, redoubled. Oh, excuse me. Late night. Oh. Even with her blighted face, her shy smile couldn't be called anything but cute. I'm glad you like it. Hanako, finally beginning to relax, sips from her cup. Something about this makes me think about Lily's question at breakfast. Why am I friends with Hanako? Lily seems genuinely concerned for Hanako's well-being, but it's not like I can do anything to help her. As far as I can tell, her scars don't hold her back physically, and everyone I've met seems to have overcome their disabilities to some extent. I don't have any ulterior motives to hang out with Hanako, we just share similar interests. Sure, Hisao. Isn't that enough? So, Hisao, are you enjoying yourself? Lily's words break me out of my reverie, and I take a second to reconsider where I am. I'm in a room with two girls in their bedclothes. This is something to be enjoyed. Yeah, it's relaxing, almost like I'm not in school anymore. Do you do this often? Quite often, but not as often as we take tea in the school building. Considering they do that nearly every day, that's not a big surprise. As I move to take another sip from my teacup, I find it sadly empty. That was delicious. Thank you, Hanako. Lily. You're welcome. Yes, you're most welcome, Hisao. It's nice to have a third person here. Well, anytime you need someone to fill that position, I'm always available. Always. Always. Wink. One must be sure to get one's point across in these circumstances. Damn right, Hisao. Lily lets Yusa yawn. Oh, damn it! When I was faking that yawn, I activated my own real yawn, damn it. Which she unsuccessfully hides with her hand. Have you already... I mean, I know everyone tries to do that, cover your yawn with your hand, but have you ever actually tried to cover a yawn without actually using anything to cover it with? So just trying to keep your mouth shut while you're yawning? It's very hard and you look very constipated. Pardon me, I think I'm a little tired. I think we're all a little tired. My, how astute we are tonight, Hanako. I believe there is only one bed here and 3 of us. Well, looks like we're all gonna have to sleep in the same bed. Nothing I can do about that. There's no room on the floor either, so guess we better snuggle up. We really should head to bed. We all have class tomorrow. Yeah, I should go. No, don't say that, Sal. You're supposed to stay. Thank you for your presents, Hisao. Thanks. You'll come again? Not even a whole army could stop me. I'm impressed by your determination, Hisao. Either way, you're right. We'd best be going. I stand up and make for the door. Oh! Hanako gingerly stands up behind me. Do we have a hug incoming? I stop and face her. Are you coming with me? Hanako instantly blossoms into full blush. No, this room isn't... That's okay, I was only joking. Oh, okay, good night. Good night, Hanako. Good night, Hisao. Night all. And with that, our tea party finishes. Damn it, I was hoping for a hug. I'm still not sure what it is that Lily wants me to do for Hanako, but I don't want to let her down. I wait until the door has closed behind us before turning to Hanako. Hey Hanako, you know, you don't have to be so nervous around me or anything. I mean, we're friends, right? Right, we're friends. If you ever want to hang out or anything, just let me know. We still need to have that chess rematch, remember? Sure. But I don't think you'll win. It wouldn't be any fun if it was easy. Hanako seems to give a muted laugh, but she could have just as easily been exhaling. Good night, Hisao. And she vanishes. With that, Hanako quickly retreats into her room, located next to Lily's. I start to walk back to my dorm, but the simple act of walking seems to drain me of my energy. I barely make it to my room before I am hit by a wave of exhaustion. I kick off my shoes, fall into bed, and fall asleep by the time my head hits the pillow. Wow. That was an interesting night. I expect to see more of that. I pull my door closed, ready for another day of classes. Oh, God. Sleep well? Kenji's sudden arrival makes me jump, and I narrowly avoid butting heads with him. I know he has poor eyesight, but he knows who I am now. Does he still have to stand this close? Oh yeah, like a baby. Damn, why do people say that? Have you ever heard a baby sleep? They scream all night, every night. Babies don't sleep well, ever. That's actually very true. Well, there goes my restful state. I have to remember to never use figures of speech with Kenji. Alright, I get your point. It was a figure of speech. Yeah, sure, whatever. Where were you last night? I had a favour to ask you, but you weren't around. For a split second I considered telling Kenji the truth, that I was spending the time with Hanako and Lily. Thankfully that split second passes as soon as it came. I was just out, checking out the local area and stuff, you know, recon. Good man, good. I knew you were the type to plan ahead. Anyway, what was this favour you wanted? I was going to get some takeout, but I needed change. Wait, what? I gave you money last week and you still haven't paid me back. And I was starting to think you were cool. Kenji fishes around in his pocket and produces his wallet. As he counts out the 400 yen he owes me, I can clearly see at least 10,000 yen notes. Hey, what the hell? Why are you borrowing money off me when you've got that much cash? Kenji hisses a little, realizing that he's been had. Get off my case, man. It's bad luck to break a big note for anything less than half its value. It's the tycoon rule. Need a drink. Drink had. Last night's dinner is going to cost me 7 years of bad luck. 7 years! Don't you think that's enough cause to help someone out? I'd get a shorter sentence if I just stole stuff. My common sense screams at me to say something to him, but thankfully I restrain myself. Arguing a point like this with Kenji will just lead to further and more complicated discussions. Yeah, I guess you're right. Maybe you should plan these things a little better? Yeah man, I know, but I've only got so much stuff to do, it's hard. And you're never around anymore, so I'm on my own. We're supposed to be brothers and brotherhood, remember? Yeah, I get you. Global conspiracy and such. I'll keep my ear to the ground. Kenji draws close. Oh god. Enough for me to get a clear whiff of his garlic-tainted breath. You'd better, man. You're already spending less time here. That's the first thing they do. They'll try to split us up, divide and conquer. Sun Tzu said that. Roger that. Now, I've got to be going. I've got classes. You coming? Nah, I'm tired. I stayed up all night, just going to make sure nothing was going to happen after splitting that note. As rational as ever, I say. Whatever, night. Kenji scurries back into his room. I hear him throwing his locks as I walk down the hallway. Does he do any work? That is why some people can't roll their tongue, or why the second toe is longer than their big toe. Mattel beams a half-moon smile at us, obviously proud of his explanation of recessive genes. However, no matter how impressed he is at the science that defines who we are, the classroom seems to be reduced to a stupor. Why is it that a bad explanation can make even the most interesting thing seem worthless? I can see Mattel deflate as he realises that nothing he's said in the past half hour has sunk in. They're students, nothing ever sinks in. Whispered conversations start to break the silence, and like an avalanche. The noise level in the class starts to rise. Defeated, Mattel identifies some questions from the textbook and sets to be clearing off the blackboard. Almost as if expected, Hanako picks up her things and leaves as soon as people start talking and laughing among themselves. The initial shock of seeing someone play so blatantly truant has started to fade, but it doesn't stop me from wondering. Is she leaving because she doesn't want people to speak to her? Or is it just the thought of people around her shattering her peace? Before I can think about the topic any further, the lunch bell rings. I wonder if she was simply taking the opportunity to leave early. The usual clamour of students exchanging books for lunch reverberate around the room, and while Misha is distracted, reverberates, sorry, I said reverberate. And while Misha is distracted, I grab my lunch and head out the door. Phew! I escaped Misha. Lily already sits in the tea room, setting out her lunch alone. So, Hanako's not here then? Oh, Hisao, how are you? I haven't met Hanako since this morning, I'm afraid. That's right, Hanako and Lily live next to each other. Somehow I think their morning conversations are slightly more grounded than Kenji's ramblings. That's strange. She left class early, so I figured that she'd come here. So she's still leaving class early. Huh? Yeah, I've seen her do it a few times. Lily drops her head a little, and tone of voice is notably depressed. It is very reminiscent of someone who is used to hearing bad news. I was so sure that she'd stop doing that once you two became friends. Everyone has their own pace, I suppose. Well, I was wondering about that just today. Why exactly does she leave? I'm not entirely sure myself. I personally think it's because she doesn't want to be put in a situation where she has to answer to someone.